Hello, I hope you are doing well. Today's video, as you can see, reading fill in the blanks, the critical thinking approach. This is what I teach my students in these sessions. I show them how to get up to 75% of the options right. Even though you guys might be solving new questions, if you follow the critical thinking approach, you will be able to score up to 75% right selections or answers. It's all about following the approach and mastering it. And that's what I will be discussing in this video. Firstly, I'm quickly reading out the steps or the points you have to consider while following this approach. Then we will have a lot of practice together, and I will convey for you this approach in actions. First of all, make sure you guys spend up to 3 minutes on each item, even if the passage was short. A short passage doesn't mean it's an easy passage. Short, medium or long passage, all the time you have to spend up to 3 minutes on each one. You have to start by reading the given options. Quickly scan the given options. They would be written at the bottom of the page or the screen. You will need to skim the passage. You don't have to read the passage word by word, only skimming it, and you will only read thoroughly the context around the gap itself. Like, alright, I've got the passage, I'm gonna skim and read like without checking every single word, but I only slow down and read thoroughly the context where the gap belongs to, like the sentence where the gap belongs to. And that's why you have to check for the clues in this sentence. There will be a lot of clues, mainly the grammar clues, to tell you the right answer. Keep in your mind to solve by elimination, like try to get rid of the wrong answers. When confused, move to the next gap and leave the tricky gaps till the end. Don't fight with a tricky and challenging gap. Like within 5 or 10 seconds you will get to know whether this gap is easy or tricky. If it was tricky, don't waste time. Move to the next ones and get back later to it. It will be easier to solve it later. Alright? This is a very important point here, number 7. Pay attention to the gaps that are close to each other. When you make a mistake in one gap, and if this gap is followed by another gap which is close to it, then there's a high chance to get this mistake carried forward. So that's why you need to pay attention to the gaps that are coming very close to each other, so that you can avoid 2 mistakes at the same time. And finally, you will need to read the sentence after filling the gap. Does it make sense? If yes, then move next. Obviously, guys, I'm not here to teach you something you've already watched on YouTube or Facebook. Yes, grammar is important, vocabulary is important, collocation is important, all of them are important. But I'm more talking about this approach, which will be conveyed now. Those 8 points, must be followed. It will take some time, let's say 6 weeks, but at least you reach a point where you will be able to get 75% of the question or of the gaps right, even though the gap could be tricky, challenging, or you haven't solved it before. And that's why most students do rely heavily on the repeated questions, but most of the time it doesn't work. Like if you were lucky, you could get 20% of the questions repeated, Otherwise, most of them are new. Alright, based on this, let's get started. Assume I have this message. First of all, I start reading the options. Augment, concerns, areas, expel, parties, prepare, foresee. Quickly, just read it quickly. Then you will jump over and start skimming the text. I will be skimming and mumbling, So I'm just going to pretend that I'm now mumbling as well. The New Year is holiday in Japan. Is a symbol of in December. There is one in K. This is a Japanese word, it looks like. Or forget the year are held. Okay, so here I have to slow down, Forget the year are held to bid. Are is plural, So it's a verb used for plural nouns. So we're looking at a noun which is plural here. So you look at the plural nouns, we've got concerns, areas, and parties. One of them is correct. If we want to say concerns, it doesn't work. You don't hold a concern, you don't hold an area. So it looks like parties is the correct answer. So you drag it and drop it here. Parties is done. Yeah. So those parties are held what for? To bid farewell to the problems and, okay, so here we go. Problems and gap. So problems is plural. Here we apply something called parallel connection. Parallel connection means that the words are balanced. Verbs with verbs, adjectives with adjectives, plural nouns with plural nouns, and so on. So here we're looking at problems and something. And problems here has got a negative meaning. So negative and another thing negative, which is in plural as well. Parallel connection, yeah? So now I'm using both tips, parallel connection and context, yeah? Parallel connection means plural followed by plural. Problems, which is negative, followed by something negative. I've got only two more plural nouns. It's not areas, indeed. It's concerns, yeah? So you drag it and you chuck it here. Done. Of the past here and for a new beginning. We get back to the parallel connection. Take a look, guys, here. To. This is the to infinitive. So those parties are held for two main purposes. To, number one, bid farewell to the problems and concerns of the past year. And this to infinitive is applicable here. I need another verb in the base form. Okay? To prepare for a new beginning. Yeah? Done. Sorry guys, it looks like a map, but it's okay. At least it's interactive, yeah? So prepare comes as number 3, and I just need to solve the last one. Alright, says at midnight we do temples in an effort. This one should be an effort, and here there's a spelling issue. There should be E, by the way. In an effort of human weakness, so this is something negative, we need to get rid of it. I would use expel. Okay, and that's how you guys would solve one full question. Okay, so if I need to just number the correct or the right options, this one will be number 1, this will be number 2, concerns, this is number 3, and that's number 4. Done. Okay, let's do another one. Here we go. Again, we start reading the options quickly. Shifted, opinion, declared, belief, announced, budget, truly. Okay, let's get started. In China's modern history, economic history, to the new policy by this Chinese name. By, okay, so here we're looking at a verb, and it's a bit tricky. Like some of you could say it could be announced or it could be declared. So if tricky, move next. Let's leave it till the end. Let's keep going, yeah? Open the door for businesses that wanted to set up in China. Special economic zones were set up in 1980 in order, yeah? So he's making a claim. So again, here this one is a bit tricky. It could be belief, yeah, or opinion. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave it till then. Just keep going, yeah. I'll get back later to it. It needed to welcome foreign direct investments, Chinese economic policy, then to encouraging, yeah. So this one, then it's talking in the past as well, to encouraging and supporting foreign trade. So it changed from one phase to another phase, or some momentum has occurred here. So I would say shifted, yeah. The policy shifted to encouraging. Like it was discouraging, now it is encouraging. So it shifted to encouraging. So that's why I would say shifted here. It is the turning point in China economic fortune that started. Okay, this one is very interesting. If you look at this sentence without the gap, this sentence sounds correct and all good without the gap. You can still read it without the gap, but they put the gap here because they wanted to add some information on this verb. So what do we use to describe or modify a verb? We use an adverb. You need to look at the adverbs. Most of the time, or in too many cases, the adverb could end with y and ly. So this is my adverb. This is the only adverb I've got here amongst the options. So I'm gonna drag it and drop it here. Truly started. Okay, so I'm done with shifted and started. I need now to solve 1 and 2. Number 1, should I use declared or announced? We need to understand the difference between declared and announced. Declared is when you interpret something, you make something clear for others. Think about it when you are coming to Australia. At the airport, you have to declare what goods you've got, yeah? Make it clear, interpret it for the officers. While announced is when you guys make a public announcement. And that's why I believe announced is the right option here. I would definitely say announced is the right option, yeah? The new policy announced by that guy. Number 2, again, we have to understand the difference between belief and opinion. Opinion is a judgment based on facts, yeah? Some data, some facts. While belief is a judgment based on cultural faith, norms, and values. And I believe belief is stronger than the opinion, yeah? Because it's based on your cultural faith and values. And here there's nothing about any facts or any experiments that were conducted, so I would say it was in his belief. Okay, but still, let's say, guys, that you could make one mistake here. It's all good. One mistake wouldn't put you in the red zone in one passage. Yeah, at least you could get one as announced, this one shifted, and this one truly. And here, if you couldn't figure out the difference between belief and opinion, at least you got 75% correct. Let's do another one. Here as well, we read the options: alike, after, carefully, if, just as, that, until, slowly. We start reading. Can we see the earth is a globe? Yes. Okay, here it could be if, and it could be that. Both of them could work. But if you remember what I said, all the time read the context around. The context says, yes, we can. So here, the conviction is verified, yeah? There's a fact, like, yes, we can. So at this stage, we don't use anymore if. Because if is used when the experiment or the fact is not verified yet. And as long as they are saying, yes, we can, I will use that. Can we see that the earth is a globe? As if you are saying, like, let's turn this question into a statement. You will say, I see that the earth is a globe. You would never say, guys, I see if the earth is a globe, because I'm speaking out a statement. So that's regarding the difference between if and that. This is something you guys can note it down. It's really great that the more you practice, the more you learn about English grammar and other aspects in the language. That's done. We keep reading and skimming the text. Watch closely. We see that it begins to disappear. The bottom of the ship disappears first, and then the ship seems to sink lower and lower. Okay, so there is a time series here, yeah? Like first, second, third, etc. Yeah? Comma, we can only see the top of the ship until, yeah? Until, that's preposition of time. Until we can only see the top of the ship. What side of it is the earth, it's like been most of the way into an orange, and here again, guys, we've got a verb here, yeah? We've got the verb. So if you read the sentence, all the time ask yourself this question. If I have this sentence structure, if I read the sentence without the gap, would it convey the same meaning? Somehow, yes. So this means that this gap is an adverb here, yeah? So looking at the adverbs, we have carefully and slowly. Carefully has nothing to do with the context. It doesn't belong to this context. It is slowly, yeah? Slowly turn the orange away from you. You'll see the pin disappear. A ship does on the earth. You guys here could be confused. Should I choose alike or just as? Alike most of the time is used at the end of the sentence. The two tables I bought were alike. Alike comes at the end of the sentence. Done. Here, just as is what will be used? You will see the pin disappear just as a ship does on the earth. Yeah. So I tried to eliminate the wrong option, which is alike, because as I mentioned, alike comes at the end. Let's do another one. Here we go. Again, we read exceed, convinced, astonished, records, grew, impact, accelerated, tracks, rise. So we start skimming, but here I don't have to skim, I have to read carefully because the gap is very close to the beginning of the sentence. Mass migration has produced a huge worldwide economic zone which has so fast. So I have got has. So we are looking at the verb that comes in the past participle or the third form. What verbs have I got here? I have accelerated, astonished, convinced. One of them is correct. Obviously, I'm not going to say astonished so fast. Not convinced. Yeah. So it has, yes, accelerated. It has accelerated so fast. Especially that I've got this phrase, so fast. During the past few years, that the figures have experts. So again, I've got here have. So this one will be followed by a past participle verb. Looking at the past participle verbs, I've got two more. Convinced and astonished. Too many of you could say convinced. Convinced experts in what? It's incomplete. It have, or it has, or the figures have astonished. Oh, they are astonished because of the figures. The figures have astonished the experts. Then I keep reading. Last year remittances, migrants were expected to. All right, here. Some of you would say rise, which I don't think is correct. The correct answer will be exceed. It will go a little over 232 billion. Yeah, because if you want to use rise, this rise has to be followed by 2 in the context. Rise to that number, to that limit point. Yeah, which is not mentioned here. So before the 232, there is no 2 here, another 2 for example. Yeah. They didn't say rise to $232 billion. It was without any word or preposition here. Okay, so it would be exceed, like it went a bit little over $232 billion. So that's exceed here. According to the World Bank, which these figures? You know, guys, take a look here. What I said. Read the sentence after filling the gap. Does it make sense? Because here too many of you would select according to the World Bank which records, yeah, as a verb. But the World Bank is not recording those figures. It's not his job, or it's not its job to record those numbers. The World Bank is tracking the numbers, tracks. Like this World Bank will check this number, that number, but it would never record it and make the calculations and the Excel sheets or whatever. Yeah. So I would use tracks. Which one? Yeah, this one here. Tracks is the right option, because when you say records, read this sentence. It doesn't make sense because the World Bank would never do this. Huge numbers. The World Bank is focusing on other scopes. Yeah. Then here I'm gonna skim quickly. It's to alleviate the plight of migrants' family, entire nation of poverty. Those who study the of remittances argue that the money allows. Okay, the impact, yeah, because we are talking about the outcomes of money, yeah. So the impact, done. And again, guys, excuse this red map, yeah. As I mentioned, it's very interactive way. Yeah, that's another example. Let's do this one. This one is very interesting. Again, we start by reading the options. Peaceful, polluted, cosmopolitan, bustling, facilities, crowded, hospital, sandy. Montego Bay is the second largest city in Jamaica. It's a lively and, so parallel connection, yeah? So lively, it's energetic, something energetic, yeah, busy. So I'm looking at some adjective that is similar or has got the same meaning. Some of you could say sandy. Sandy is wrong. And the issue is if you select sandy here, you end up making a mistake in number 2 because sandy belongs to the other gap. And that's why I said when the gaps are very close to each other, pay double attention, because making a mistake in one gap could be reflected as a mistake on the or to the other gap. So here I would say the best word is bustling. Yeah. So it's a lively and bustling beach resort. Yeah. Attracts a lot of tourists from many different countries with its beaches. Yeah. Now, beaches is a noun. I need to describe it using an adjective. The best adjective that works here is sandy. Yeah. We have a rocky beach, a sandy beach, and so on. So I will drag sandy and chuck it here in number 2. Yeah. So we've got the sandy beaches and what? Relaxing atmosphere. It looks like there's a compound adjective here. Yeah. So this one is done. I have selected bustling, I've selected sandy. What is the best word that goes with relaxing? Facilities? No, it doesn't work. Crowded? How come it's crowded and relaxing? Yeah, I don't think it makes sense. Hospital? I'm okay. I shouldn't be admitted to the hospital, at least till now. Cosmopolitan, I don't think so. It looks like peaceful is the best selection. Yes, it's a peaceful, relaxing atmosphere. Done. Many Americans and Europeans as well, Jamaicans have summer home together. So it's A. So when you guys have people from different countries, different backgrounds, what could we say about a city? Like, let's talk about Australia. Sydney. Sydney has got people from all over the globe. From Asia, Africa, Europe, America, South America, and so on. So it's a cosmopolitan city. Yeah? And becomes more during the holiday seasons. Too many of you could say polluted. Mate, we're not talking about pollution. There is no place here for the negativity. Pollution is something negative, yeah? Even though I have too many people from different backgrounds, it doesn't mean that it is a polluted city. It becomes a crowded city. It's more crowded during the holiday seasons. Yeah. So this is how I was able to tackle this gap by checking the context. The entire context is positive, bustling, peaceful, crowded, cosmopolitan. So why should you bring polluted out of nowhere? You shouldn't. Yeah. I think this would be the last one. This one. Yeah, let's do this one. This is the last one. Listen, empathy, determine, improve, employed, positive, increased. So I started by skimming and reading the options first. Then I jump in. High emotional intelligence can help a manager. What to do? So we are looking at the verb. Workplace communication skills. I would say it can help him improve. Yeah? Especially that we've got a modal verb, so we are looking at the verb in the base form. Can help a manager improve workplace communication skills. Employee motivation and organization. If a manager has a high... Okay, here guys, you need to read in this way. Can you see the comma here? And there's another comma here. So this phrase in the middle is adding more information on this gap. That's how you need to approach the passage or this sentence. You will read between the commas here that this phrase is like interrupter that is adding more information on the gap here. What is considered a key component of emotional intelligence? Something related to emotions. It's empathy. Drag it and drop it here. Okay? How did I know this? By reading this extra phrase in between, which added information on empathy. He or she will be able to the concerns. So to here, this is the to infinitive. We will get a verb in the base form. Concerns. Let's listen to the concerns, yeah? It's very vital to listen to the concerns of the employees, yeah? So he or she will be able to listen to the concerns and will be more understanding of their needs, wants, and concerns. This will most likely translate into motivation. Here guys, there's a common mistake. I believe most of you could say positive motivation. You know, if you select positive motivation as if you are saying sweet sugar. Sweet sugar doesn't make sense. Sugar is already sweet, isn't it? So you don't have to say sweet sugar, because if you say sweet sugar, as if you are claiming that there is a sour sugar. Yeah? So motivation by itself is already positive. You don't have to tell me that it is a positive motivation, because there is no negative motivation. So it's wrong to say positive. I will leave it out till the end, because positive belongs to here, positive effect. And that's what I said earlier. When the gaps are close to each other, making a mistake in number 4 could definitely lead to a mistake in number 5. So leave it out till the end. I would jump over, put positive at the end, and this one will be increased motivation. Yeah, I have increased motivation, decreased motivation. Yeah. So that's how I apply the last tip. Read your sentence after you fill up the gap. You said this will most likely translate into positive motivation. Is there a positive motivation? No, then it's wrong. It doesn't make sense. Read to check if it makes sense, and so on. So this was increased, and the last one was positive. Okay? Yeah, I think, yep. Yeah, the video now, it's too long. I don't like giving long videos, but it is what it is. This is what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, you need to have this critical thinking approach. It's not something you're gonna gain in one day or 1 week or even 1 month. Yeah, it would take some time, but think about it. Do you need to solve up to 800 questions, hoping that you could get 1 question of them repeated in the exam, and solving 800 passages? Because now in the industry, every single PTE coaching center says, look guys, I have the most repeated questions. When you ask for them, they give you a list in 800 passages. Go and smash it. Mate, this would take me 3-4 months. And by the time you finish it, the questions will be changed, yeah? And the hit rate would never cross 20%. Like if you are lucky, out of the 11 passages, you could get 1 or 2 that are repeated. So that's one approach. You can follow it. It's all good, mate. The other approach, which is here on my screen, the critical thinking approach, like you solve and you know what you are solving. You solve and you spend up to 3 minutes. You check the context. You check for the clues all the way around. You read your sentence after you fill up the gap. Does it make sense? If yes, move next, and so on. Every time you are practicing, put a notebook next to you. Find out why did you make this mistake and what is the explanation, so that you will not only get your desired score, you are developing your English skills. Thank you so much, and wait me with other videos. Bye.